welcome to today's class. Today we'll be doing something new, that is shading. To some of you it's not going to be new because you might have done it in your school before, and then to some people too it might be new. All the same, we are doing shading today. And then concerning the assignment I gave you people last time, I noticed some of you did not do the assignment. Some are not even involving themselves in the class. Let me let you know one thing. These assignments I'm giving you are things I will use for your assessment. And for those of you writing WASI, remember we are going to submit assessment for you guys. And if I have to submit an assessment and I don't know or have not seen your work before, what do you expect me to submit? That is to you. If you want me to put dash there for you, then keep joking and keep playing. Today I'm going to give you an assignment, practical assignment. Don't joke with my practical assignment because that's where I'm going to pick my marks from. When I say draw, you must draw. Today we are doing shading, so automatically you are going to draw and do what? Shade. And I'm going to practicalize every method of the shading technique. I'm going to do them practically, and you are going to see my hands as I shade, so that you also do the same thing and submit to me for your assignment. So at the end of the practical shading class, you are going to see what you have to do for me. All right, so let's jump straight into the topic. Today, the topic we are doing is shading, like I just said. And shading is the act of creating tones on a surface using art elements such as line and dot. Using art elements. Now, I want to give you a simpler definition, which you can keep in your memory. If you understand it, then even when you forget the definition, at the exam hall, you can just remember that and do it. Okay? Shading is the act of making a drawn two-dimensional object, look three-dimensional on a surface. The act of making a drawn two-dimensional object look three-dimensional on a surface by the use of this art element, lines and dots. Do you get it? It means that you can do shading with dots, and you can also do shading with lines. And that you will see in our practical class. Okay? All right. So let's just move on from that side. And then let's go through the note I gave to you. It can also be defined as the act of making two-dimensional objects look three-dimensional with the use of lines or dots. Do you get it? This creates a gradation of tone from light to dark, making a flat drawing appears three-dimensional. Do you get it? If you are making a flat object appear three-dimensional, then it's what? Shading. All right. These are some things you need to observe. When shading a three-dimensional form with flat surface, each part of the form must receive its own tone. Let me explain that. When you are shading a flat object, let's say you are shading something like a wood. You know, wood has, when I say wood, I'm talking about wood of from the sawmill. It has the length, the width, and then the depth. So because it's having these three sides, it is called three-dimensional. And what this sentence is trying to say is that when you are shading, you must make sure that every part of the flat surface receives different tone. So it means one part will receive the dark tone, another will receive the middle tone, and then the other will receive the light tone. You would understand this better when you get to the practical class. So I don't want to waste much time on the theory. Okay? So I'm just brushing through the theory. And then after you've watched the practical video, then you can come back to read and then you will understand what I meant. Are you getting it? Now, when shading three-dimensional form with flat surface, each part of the form must receive its own tone. I've just explained that. These tones may be light tone, middle tone, or dark tone, depending on the direction of light. So the light source will tell you where the dark tone or the middle tone or the light tone should go. That we did in the practical class. So now, let's go to light tone, middle tone, dark tone. These are the most important things you must consider when shading a drawn object. These are the most important things you must consider when shading a drawn object. Light tone, middle tone, and dark tone. Do you get it? Now, let's go to the shading techniques. In order to shade, we have different techniques that were developed by different artists. You get it? As you go on, as you grow, you also develop your own technique. So these techniques we are considering right now, that's the arching, the cross arching, the stippling, crisscross, matte shading, and smudging. And then there are some other types, but these are the main ones that we consider in our educational sector. Do you understand that? These ones are accepted by WASI, NOVDEC, and the rest. Okay, we have arching, cross arching, stippling, crisscross, matte shading, and smudging. So we are going to dive into them one after the other in the practical class, but I'm going to give you just a brief explanation on them. Let's go to arching technique. This involves using line in one direction to create a tone. The lines go just in one direction. They don't intercross or whatever. They just go, if it is from up to down, then it has to go up to down. If it is from side to side, then it should go side to side like that. If it is diagonal, then all must go diagonal. Do you understand? If it is curvy, then all must go curvy. That is how it is done. Lines may be diagonal, vertical, parallel, or curved, depending on creativity. Do you understand? You will get to understand that in the practical class. Most suitable for cylindrical shapes, human skins, plants, pots, wooden structures. Arching is best for shading cylindrical shapes, human skins, like you are shading human body, plants, you can use it for shading plants, pots, wooden structures. All right, so let's go on. I'm giving you an example of arching technique. As you can see in the document, this is an apple. Don't be surprised that this is a shading that was done by a human figure like you. And you can see it looking like a picture. Now, for you to be sure that it's shading, look at it down here. The kind of surface the person uses, what do we call it? Is it? You see this Mandela card that has this rough, yeah, that type. That is the one the person used. So you can still feel the shading there. So whatever you are seeing here was created by an individual like you. And you can see that all the lines are going towards one direction from the top to down, top to down. This is the artist's own style, okay? Some artists will shade diagonal, some will shade from top to down. Whatever way, this is a fruit. And it's a round object, but they are using arching technique. Are you seeing it? This one here, and then that's the other. Now let's go to the next one, which is cross arching. Cross arching uses line in opposite direction to create gradation of tone. They say line in opposite direction. It comes like this and then goes the opposite way. So if it's coming from top down, then now it's going to go from left down to the top. Do you get it? You'll see it in your practical class, don't worry. Lines may cross at different angles, diagonally, vertically, or curved. Do you understand? All right. Commonly used for skin, plant, pot, wooden structure. So it means you can use it just like you use arching. Do you get it? All right, so let's just go straight to, I told you I'm not going to waste time on the theory class because this is practical. And for you to understand, you have to watch the practical class. All right. So this is an example of cross arching. Can you see the lines? And this is also a pencil work. All what you are seeing here are done with the pencil. And you can do that. These are some of the works we did when I was in campus. Are you getting it? Here you can really see the cross arching. Look here. You see? It's in opposite direction. Look at another one here. Cross arching. So just the human figure has different type of technique, shading technique. Because the human figure is made up of different shape. All the shape you see in the world is part of the human body. We have the flat. You can see the nails. It looks flat. Even here, when the person curved this way, you can see it's looking flat. You get it? All right. Now let's go to the next one, which is called stippling. Stippling technique involves using dots to create tones. You use dot. Sometimes people call it pointillism. It is wrong. Never call it pointillism. It's stippling. And don't call it dottilism. It's also wrong. It's called stippling. Using dot to represent your tones. And you are going to see it down when we go down. Involve using dots to create tones. Closer dots gives you darker tone. Further apart gives you lighter tone. So it means depending on how you want your gradation to be done upon your light source, the closer your dot will come, will be showing that you are doing what? Your dark tone. And then as you are scattering or spreading away, you are going to your middle tone, and then it's spread into your light tone. That is how it is done. Best for rough surfaces. Best for rough surfaces. So if you are shading something that is rough, like fruits that have this rough surface, or human figure that you want to show some rough, let's say bump around this part, you can use stippling to show those things, right? And then it is best for shading rusted metal. When a metal is rusted, and then you are shading for people to know that this is rusted, you will be seeing those roughness. So in order to create that roughness, you can use arching, you can use cross arching, you can use crisscross or smudging. The best method is stippling. So this is to tell you that you need to learn all the techniques. Some people will tell you what I know how to do is arching. Somebody will say I know how to do cross arching. Somebody will say me I know only stippling. It's not good. If you want to be a good artist, then you must learn all the shading techniques. Do you get it? All right, so let's go down so that you see an example. These are some of the works I did in school, as you can see here. These are stippling work. Stippling. And this was done with pen, not pencil. Yes, pen. And you can see how the dots are showing. Even inside here, there are still dots. Whatever you are seeing here is dots. But the dots are closer. So when it's closer, it blocks. And then you would see it like a flowing ink. No, it is stippling. And for a work like this, not this one, I did one. And my examiner gave me 10/10 for drawing. So you should be amazed. For a lecturer, a professor to give you 10/10 in drawing. So you guys shouldn't take these things for granted. I beg you. Learn how to do them, and then you can be a lecturer one day and you'll be chopping your salary. Okay? Which is what I hope to be one day. And I'm working towards it though. All right, so this is stippling. Very nice and neat. You might think it's a computer work. It's never a computer work. Somebody did it. A human being like you. So you can do it. It's about learning, practicing. Do you get it? All right. So let's go to the next technique, which is crisscross. Crisscross technique. Derived from the cross arching. Crisscross was derived from cross arching. You can see they look a bit similar. But in crisscross, you don't do arching, and then when you are done, you cross it. This, as you are shading, you are crossing. That is how it is done. You get it? The lines, they intersect at scattered angles. So it's not arranged like the way when you are doing cross arching, it is arranged. Do you understand? So line intersect at a scattered angle, not upright. And then best for hairy surface, like animals and textures. So the skin of an animal that is hairy like the dog, you use that method. So this was also a shading work. Don't be amazed, it's a shading work. This is not a painting, it's shading. This is another one. Look at the bed. You can feel it around this area. Right? Now let's go to the next technique. I told you I won't be wasting time. Wow, you can see this one too. This is where mass shading is done. Mass shading combines different angles of stroke to achieve gradation. Different angles of stroke. So the strokes just come up and down like that, and then they form this nice thing. Mostly I use this technique most times in my works. Are you getting it? Most times I use these techniques in my work. And these are some of the works we did when I was at the tertiary. Okay? So don't be scared. You can start now and then you develop to this level. Okay? Now let's go to the next technique. And then they also said pencil moves back and forth. It goes forward and back like that. That is how you do mask shading. And then there are some things you are seeing here that I would explain in the practical class, such that you will not be confused. The things that are making you feel like it can be done is because of these things. Those are extraordinary things that were added, and those things we learned them at the tertiary. And I'm giving them to you. It is called cast shadow. Cast shadow. Can you see it? After shading the object itself, the person looked at the direction of light and created cast shadow of the object. That is why it's looking extraordinary. Look at it. These are all cast shadow. Look at it under here too. Cast shadow. And with cast shadow, it blends out just like the way other tones blend. The closer to the object, it becomes dark, but as it comes, it fades away. Very nice. You can also do this and learn it. All right, let's go to the last technique, smudging. This is beautiful. Look at the bucket. You see how shiny it is. So mostly we use smudging for a kind of shading that, if you are shading an object that is very smooth, when it is very smooth, like the metallic object, like the bucket, we use smudging. And smudging, we have two techniques. Some people use cotton wool. You scrape off the graphite from the pencil into a palette, and then you use the cotton wool and pick your graphite before shading. So you'll be applying it onto the surface of the drawing, and it is the same thing. You apply darker tone from the opposite direction of the light, and then you go into the light tone, just like that. Do you get it? So that was what they did to achieve this polished thing you are seeing here. Still shading. It's not magic. It's shading. If you want to be sure, just look at the ground. Look at the pencil works. Can you see the pencil works? Look at all this place. You can see the pencil works. But because they did smudging here, it looks a bit smoother. So if you don't take time, you'll be like, wow, what is this? Now, in this work, there is reflected light, there is cast shadow, there is core of the shadow, there is light source, there is highlight, there is light tone, there is middle tone, and there is dark tone. You see, I've mentioned about 7 things. That is why you are seeing the work extraordinary. Though this is not your level, this is an upgraded level, tertiary level, but look at this one here. This is about your level. But up to this one, it becomes a bit above your level, right? And even this, there are some reflected lights. Can you see them? Reflected light comes when you are shading a very polished object, like mirror, like glass, like metal. You get reflected lights. And those are the ones you are seeing there. And highlights and the rest. Are you getting it? All right. So that brings us to the shading techniques, the end of the shading techniques. Okay, let's talk about smudging. Smudging technique is achieved by blending graphite after shading. I've explained that already. 2, you can use cotton board or cotton wool or even your thumb. I think I did that in the practical class, so you see it. Create smooth tones and soft transitions. What they mean is that you can't easily see where the transition from the middle tone to the dark tone or to the light tone, you can't really see it. It is very smooth and polished, unlike the arching and then the cross arching that you can just see them. You see, these ones you can easily tell. And even this, they did it nice. So look at this. You can see the middle tone, the light tones, and the dark tone easily. You can easily tell that. But when you are looking at these ones, it is polished into. It's more like a polished version. Can you see it? Very nice. Now let's look at the importance of shading. Importance of shading. It said, shading gives depth and realism to a drawing. It gives depth and realism. Depth, which is thickness. The depth, the thickness. And realism, it makes it look real. And then they said, 2, shows light and shadow on object. Shading helps to show where light and shadow is on an object. Now, shading helps describe texture and surface of an object. Shading helps to describe the texture of an object, and then the surface of an object. Do you get it? Makes flat object appears three-dimensional. That's what shading does, and it's in the definition. It makes flat object appear three-dimensional. So that even if you have forgotten the definition, if you remember the importance of shading, you can just grab some things there and put it together to get a definition. Do you get it? Or when you've forgotten the importance, you can just look at the definition, extract some things there, and form them into sentence, and you get your importance. Improves visual appeal and artistic quality. Visual appeal, when you look at it, like you love it. Look at the way we were watching the bucket. Man, it's like, whoa, somebody did this. And even look at the towel. Do you know there's pointillism, as you may call it, which is not pointillism, it's called stippling. There's stippling in the towel shading. Can you see it? Stippling inside. That is why you can see some rough side. Normally, I told you stippling is for shading rough objects, right? So that is it. And then they said, shows form and volume in drawing. Shows form and volume in drawing. Then number 7, improves the beauty and clarity of an artwork. Now, we've been able to cover shading. It's left to you to watch the practical class, observe, and practice, and do whatever I ask you to do. If you want to be good at shading, then you must do what I ask you to do. All right, let's look at some WASSCE examination tips to shading. You must know the definition and purpose of shading. Take that into your medulla oblongata. I told you I'll be giving you some things. Whichever topic we do, I'll tell you some things that WASSCE would expect. This is another I gave you last time. Know definition and purpose of shading, because they will trick you to ask a question, and if you don't know it, then you don't know it. So make sure you get it. Be able to list and explain techniques. They might ask you, list 3 techniques and explain 2. Then here you are. You don't know what to say because you didn't learn it. So make sure you put that in your mind. Understand how to apply light tone, middle tone, and dark tone. That definitely is coming into your exams. Your still life drawing, you are going to draw and shade. So if I were you, 25 marks, don't leave it to go. Start learning how to shade today, so that when it gets there, you already have 25 or 20 marks down for you out of your GKA. Do you get it? We'll be doing lettering and the rest, so don't worry. So that you can still about 40 marks down before you even go to your exam hall to write your theory and objective. Are you getting it? Be serious. Now, be able to choose the right shading technique for different objects. With what we have done, then you should be able to choose whether I need to use stippling, or I should use cross-hatching, or I should use crisscross or smudging for this object. Because you'll be drawing some objects in your still life drawing class, still life drawing exams. And there you'll be having different objects, and you are expected to use the right shading technique and then use it well. Are you getting it? Now, the last one, use clear gradation when shading objects in practical exams. Use clear gradation. It means when you are shading, look at my face, right? So you are seeing my face. You can see some dark tone here, middle tone here, and then this is the light tone. Can you see that? So when you are shading, make sure you observe the same thing. Are you getting it? So that is what they are trying to say. I think we'll bring the class to an end here, and then I'll give you some questions to solve. Likely WASSCE examination question. I'll give you about 30 objectives, like I do, and then 10 theory questions. I told you, don't joke with my, what do we call it, my assignments. When you are joking with them, and I'm asked to submit your assessment, you might just have dash there because I didn't see you in my class. The only way I'll get to know that you were in the class or you learned is by doing my assignment and submitting to me. The practical works, when you do them, write your name on it because I'm keeping records. Take a snapshot and send it to me in the group. Now, the theoretical questions and then objectives, send them to me directly by text. Don't write and then take a snapshot and send to me. No. Send them to me directly. The one we did the other day, I'm going to send the answer, the objective answer, and then the theory answer to you. Do you get it? So have a nice day, and then study the note I'm sending to you. Take good care of yourself. Bye-bye.